Hi everybody, I had a question about a problem on the homework for section 5.6, and I thought maybe it would be a good idea for me to just do that here for you guys because like I said on the module page, choosing the correct formula and then also getting everything typed into your calculator correctly are pretty much the two problem points for any of these kinds of questions. So this was the question that was sent to me. It's out of section 5.6. So right now we know that we would need one of those annuity formulas, one of the kind of harder formulas. But remember, on the test, you're not going to necessarily know what section the problem came out of. So because I see that she is making payments, that's the key word here. She's making periodic payments. That's how I know this is an annuity and not just a regular compound interest formula. So I'm going to bring up the formula sheet that you guys are going to get on your test. Notice, please, that this first page, these are not the formulas that are in the book. These are the formulas that I personally use. They're the same as the formulas in the book, but to me they're just a little bit more explanatory. R over K is the same thing as I. When you look at the formulas from your book, they just put a little I in here. I think that's a little bit confusing. I like the ones that are just a little bit more explanatory. They tell you here what I stands for and what N stands for, but I prefer just to have the longer versions because it makes it more clear to me what to sub in for. So because of the way this question in particular is wording, we are trying to figure out how much she will have in the end of 20 years. So we're looking for a future value, and we know we're in an annuity. So the formula we want is either this one out of the book, future value of an annuity, or my alternate one up here. Again, these are the same formulas. This one's just a little bit more drawn out than this one. Now, the rest of the problem is getting this into my calculator correctly. So again, I'm going to follow this version just because it's easier for me to pick out the information. I'm also going to type things into my calculator using the order of operations. So I'm going to do this in a few parts. I'm going to start from my very most inner parentheses, do my power, my subtraction, then the division, and then I'm going to take everything that I get in here and multiply it by this R. So I'm going to do it in stages. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take and do parentheses. I'm going to do 1 plus. Now R is the rate, the interest rate. So for us we have 7%, so that's 0.07. And then I would divide that by my K, my compounding periods. How often is this compounded per year? It is compounded annually. So that's just a 1. So I only need to put, divided by 1. So technically I could leave that off. I don't even really need that. So there's what's in my parentheses. I could go ahead and hit enter on that if I want to. 1.07, pretty simple. Now I want to take that 2. Now here's something to be very careful about. I want to take that 2. If your calculator does not format nicely like this one does, you may have to, when you do this power, you may have to put some parentheses in here. It's always safe to do that. In this calculator right here, you wouldn't have to because it's already formatting it as a power, but just to be sure, so I would want to do 1 times. T stands for time, so we're doing 20 years. Close that up. So there's where I am right now. That gets me all of this. I want to subtract 1 from that, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract 1. Okay, here's where I'm at this stage. Now I want to divide by. Now here I do need to be careful how I type this in. If I type in more than one value here, my calculator may not do it correctly. So again, I'm going to use parentheses, and I'm going to do my R, which is my rate, divided by K, which was 1. So again, I don't really need that 1, but if that was something else, if it was something like a 4, then I would need to put it there and I would need parentheses. So that gets me this. So that's everything that's in these brackets. And now I need to take that times big R. Big R stands for the periodic payment that someone is making or withdrawing. So for her, for this particular problem, it's $4,000. So times that by 4,000. There's my answer. So I want to round it to the nearest cent, it says. So I've got 163,981, and it looks like 97 cents. And before I check this, I'm going to make sure that makes sense. It is a number, she is investing, so I expect that her money is going to grow. If she just put $4,000 per year in, this is growing a little faster because she's earning interest on it as well. So this number makes sense. If I got a value that was very, very small here, like if it was a number under 4,000 or a very small number, I would feel like maybe I chose the wrong formula or something like that. So anyway, there's how you do one of those problems. Just be very careful both choosing your formula and also typing it into your calculator. Do it in stages, do it with parentheses. Don't try to do it all at once because most likely you'll miss something there. Also on this test, make sure you show me all your work. Set up those formulas for me. Write those down. If you write down what formula you're using and you put all of the numbers in where they go, I will give you credit for that. And then additional credit earned for actually calculating it out correctly. So lots of partial credit to be earned on these kinds of problems. So definitely show me all of your work and you'll get lots of partial credit. All right, hope this helps. Bye guys.